This is Newman's, Cruella's, Believe It or Not. So let's go back to 1998. And I think I've shared with a lot of you that growing up, my mom and I had a very difficult relationship, right? So 1998, there was an incident in our house, in our family, that required some type of counseling and intervention. And in this particular instance, the intervention was our school counselor, Mr. Battle. So we had meetings upon meetings. There was a lot of yelling, screaming, crying, accusations thrown back and forth or whatever. So on this particular day, it was a Friday night, a Friday during the day. I had a meeting with my dad at my school, Fort Lincoln Middle School, which is no longer in existence. Mr. Battle sat down with us. He talked to us and wanted to figure out how we should proceed. And obviously, I'm saying the incident was between my mother and myself. Okay. And so we get home, and my mom was very defensive. So that included more back and forth, more arguing, more accusations. Everyone went to bed angry. All right. And so all of my siblings, except with the exception of my youngest older brother, were out of the house. So I was at home that weekend, just my parents and myself. I had my own room. I had a television in my room, and I had my own phone line. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of spoiled. And so go to bed.
Yeah, for the 90s, yeah, it's pretty spoiled.
I'm pissed off. Go to bed. I'm pissed off. My dad is pissed off and bewildered because he's just like, what the hell is going on? My mom is ridiculously pissed off. So we all go to bed, sleeping or whatever. I sleep with the TV on, but for some reason, I slept this night with the TV off. So my room was pitch black with the exception of the light looming in from the moon outside and the street.
Oh, wow.
I had two big windows in my room. So at that time, my bed was coming out this way from one of the windows. So the window was behind me.
I mean, towards
You're
you?
laying in the bed. No, but when laying in bed, the bed was against one of the windows,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so the window's behind, and you could see the light coming in from behind me, right?
Okay. Got
With that, there's shadows. There's shadows all over the place, especially if it's dark. And so I'm sleeping. I'm a very light sleeper. All of a sudden, about, I would say, 1 o'clock in the morning, I hear this boom. So I sit up immediately. What the fuck is that? I'm looking around, and then I look up and I see a shadow behind me, which looks like the figure of a person, right? And so I'm like, oh my God. So I'm saying to myself, what is this? What is this? And so I say, who's there? No response. But then I kind of hear this hissing sound. So I'm freaking out. Now, at that time, I wasn't sleeping yet with the butcher knife underneath my bed, but there were bookshelves attached to my bed. So I think there was this big, I can't remember what type of figurine it was, but there was a figurine on the bookshelf that was very heavy. So I grabbed the figurine and say again, who's there? Person or whatever it was did not respond. Could have been a ghost. Did not respond. But as I kind of peek around the corner, it had a small frame, and it kind of had the silhouette of my mother. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Why is she in my room trying to scare me? And again, we had a very, very tempestuous relationship, but never had she tried to scare me in my room in the middle of the night, right? So I look and I'm like, okay, I see you. Neo, can we get my visual?
Absolutely.
And for you all who aren't familiar with this is Margaret White, Carrie's mama, Carrie's crazy ass mama from the thriller Carrie. So as I turn around the corner,
Oh yeah, Carrie.
around the corner again, and like, who's there? The shadow, the silhouette, raises its hand with a knife. I could see the knife. I could see the shimmer of the knife as it bounced off the light in the room. So I'm like, oh my God, she's going to kill me. She's trying to kill me. So here it is. Here we go.
Oh my God.
And so I'm paralyzed because you think all the time when you see things like that, or even when I talk about now, if the killer comes into my room, I'm going to grab the butcher knife. This is what I'm going to do. Maybe not, because sometimes your body paralyzes. I could not move.
That's true.
Yeah, I've heard
Remember,
night terrors
there's
like
a foot. There's a phone in my room, phone right next to my bed. I couldn't even get up to pick up the phone to call anyone. I couldn't scream out to my parents, to my dad. Yes, he and my mom, we lived together. They were sleeping in the same bed around the corner. I couldn't even scream. I was that terrified. So I must have sat in my position with my figurine in my hand like this for at least, I'm going to say 90 minutes.
Wow.
Peeking around, trying to see, like, is she going to kill me? Well, if she's going to pounce, come on, let's do this. Let's do this. I think I'm ready. Let's do this. And so finally, once again, I get enough courage. I'm like, who's there? Hissing sound again. So then we stay in our positions for, I would say, another 45 minutes. Kind of maybe peed myself a little bit.
Peed yourself?
Maybe a little bit because I was scared. But I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't even 14 yet. I was still 13. My mom is about to kill me. We've been fighting all day, all week, and this is going to be the culmination of all of that. And so just as I am about to, I get up enough courage in my body. I'm just like, okay, if she's not going to go, I'm going to come at her first. Just as I am about to pounce, the phone rings. The phone in my room rings. And so I'm like, oh my God, who's calling me? So I pick up the phone, still with, the figurine in my hand. I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello, is it the police? No, it was my counselor, Mr. Battle. So I look at the clock. It's like maybe 6:30 in the morning now. Mr. Battle's calling. He was like, I just wanted to call to make sure. I know it's early. I apologize, but you told me that you have your own phone line, so I'm not waking up anyone else in the house. I want to see if you're okay. I'm like, no, I'm not okay. She's in here. She's trying to kill me. He's like, who's in there trying to kill you? I'm like, my mother. She's behind the bed. She's trying to kill me. He goes, put her on the phone. He goes, put her on the phone. So I kind of get up. I go and turn on the light to put her on the phone with Mr. Battle. There's no one there. No one in my room. No knife in my room. Nothing. It was a combination of my anxiety, fear, and somewhat depression throughout the entire week, throughout this entire process that caused this psychosis in the moment that led me to believe that my mom was behind me with a knife trying to kill me. And so he was like, he's like, is she there? What's going on? I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get her. So I run to my parents' room, burst into the room. I'm like, Mommy, Mr. Battle wants to talk to you. She's laying in bed, could not have been more shocked than anyone. Like, what is going on with this child? She gets on the phone, and Mr. Battle, I don't know what they discussed. I don't even know if he told her what I had experienced or what my accusations were. But she got up, because she had to go to bed, actually, it was a Friday, so she didn't have to go to work. But she got up, went downstairs, made some breakfast, and we went on throughout our day like nothing happened. I never mentioned it to my dad. I never mentioned it to my mom. I think I called my best friend, Keisha Moore, the next day and probably mentioned it to her. I can't remember if I ever told my sister Jackie, but it was one of those things where I think for the next 2 or 3 months, I slept with the light on. I already normally slept with the television on. But from this moment forward, I never slept in a dark room again. But for the next couple of months, I slept with the light on.
So you think it was psychosis and not a ghost?
Yeah, I don't think it was a ghost. I think it was my mind playing. In the words of the Ghetto Boys, this year Halloween fell on a weekend. It was my mind playing tricks on me.
So I'm gonna just ask you, what if you're wrong?
And I think she would have killed me. I think the ghost would have killed me.
Wow.
Really?
So that's my story.
What if it was
It sounds like an Erica story. It sounds like some real life stuff.
100%.
Yeah, that's creepy. That was very scary. Wow.
But I never mentioned it to my mom. I never mentioned it to my parents because I'm like, there's already a lot of stress in this house right now. I'm not adding that. They probably would have committed me at that point.
Right? I've already got a counselor. I don't need a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Latoya Blakely on says, even if it was just your mind, that's still scary as hell.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it
hell.
freaked me out. And thankfully, it was on a weekend, so I didn't have to go to school the next, because I was in no position to go anywhere the next day. None. I was just walking around the house like a zombie, and then looking at her, every time she passed me by in the house, I'm, looking at her like, is that really you? Were you really you know?
The human brain is a scary thing.
Wow.
Nothing scarier than when working against you. That's Latoya Blakely.
True.
All right.
So that's my story.
That's a crazy story.
That's a scary one.
That is a scary one. That was a good one, Liz. Good job.
Gosh.
you got me.
This guy again.
Got us all messed up a little bit. All right, so let me
get. I still love Halloween, though. I still love Halloween, y'all. I still love Halloween.
All right, so Gianni